Greetings, my scattered sisters and brothers in the Lord. Trust you know the Lord is with you wherever you find yourself scattered today, and that you know that His presence with you is more than enough for whatever you might face today. We're rejoining Elijah. We're in 1 Kings chapter 18, and it's now at the end of the day. The prophets of Baal, all 450 of them, have been crying out to Baal ever since morning, trying to get Baal to send down a lightning bolt to consume the bull on the altar that they have prepared as a sacrifice. And they have been crying out. They've been doing this kind of limping dance around the altar. Still nothing from Baal, just absolute silence, no answer. They cut themselves trying, and blood is flowing. They're trying to manipulate Baal to get him to answer. And again, they've been doing this all day long, and just silence. And so we pick it up. Elijah has been taunting them. You know, maybe Baal is busy. Maybe he's relieving himself. Maybe he's taking a nap. Just highlighting just how silent, really how dead Baal is. And so now we come to verse 30. So 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 30. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come here to me." They came to him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord, which had been torn down. Elijah took 12 stones, one for each of the tribes descended from Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, "Your name shall be Israel." With the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he dug a trench around it large enough to hold 2 seahs of seed. He arranged the wood, cut the bull into pieces, and laid it on the wood. Then he said to them, "Fill 4 large jars with water and pour it on the offering and on the wood." "Do it again," he said, and they did it again. "Do it a 3rd time," he ordered, and they did it the 3rd time. The water ran down around the altar and even filled the trench. At the time of the sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed, "Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again." Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil, and also licked up the water in the trench. When all the people saw this, they fell prostrate and cried, "The Lord, He is God! The Lord, He is God!" Then Elijah commanded them, "Seize the prophets of Baal. Don't let anyone get away." They seized them, and Elijah had them brought down to the Kishon Valley and slaughtered there. I'm tempted to go on, but I'm going to stop there. There's a few things that I want us to really focus on today. One, just notice that, kind of a minor detail, that Elijah had a trench dug around the altar, which they had already torn down, showing how far they had shifted away from the worship of the Lord to the worship of Baal. He rebuilds that altar, has a trench dug around it, and then he pours water over the sacrifice, over the altar, so much so that the trench is filled with water. And mind you that this is the time of a drought. And so all of this, Elijah is just magnifying the power of the Lord to grant victory and how dead Baal really is, that the Lord is the living God. Then we see, the answer. The Lord answers by fire, consumes the whole thing, even the water is licked up, and the people finally get it, that the Lord, He is God and not Baal. It's the Lord who is God. And Elijah, in response, has all the prophets of Baal slaughtered, and the people comply with this. And, I'm not sure that that would be the right approach today, to have all of the, prophets of other gods executed. But in terms of the context and the message, what we're seeing clearly is that you can't have both. That you can't serve the Lord and at the same time fund prophets of Baal. You can't be totally devoted to the Lord and at the same time facilitate in your life the existence of other gods and voices that would lead you to other gods. And so these are slaughtered, they're done away with. And that, I think, is something that we need to take pretty seriously, that we're either all in or we're not, that you can't be partway in for the Lord. It's like we've already said before, you can't serve two masters. You can't serve the Lord and Baal. You can't serve God and money. You can't serve Christ and. It's got to be Christ only. He alone is our hope and salvation. That brings me to the main thing I want us to consider today, and that is the prayer of Elijah. And so Elijah is praying, Lord, answer by fire so that this people will know that you are God and that you've sent me and that you're the true living God. So listen to his prayer again. It's at verse 36. Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so that these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again. And what a prayer, to pray for God to do such a work, and in this case, send fire from heaven to consume this sacrifice, so that everyone would know that Elijah belongs to God and has been obedient to God, and that everyone would know that the Lord is the true God. And so he's praying that this would be really kind of a revelatory event, that people would see and know that the Lord is God. I think about in the Gospel of Mark when Jesus is hanging on the cross and he breathes his last. And the Roman centurion overseeing his execution sees how Jesus dies and says, surely, truly, this was the Son of God. And then I think about doubting Thomas in the Gospel of John, skeptical about Jesus being risen from the dead. And the risen Jesus appears to him and invites Thomas to touch him. And Thomas falls to the ground and confesses, my Lord, my God. And so I'm just thinking about these kind of moments where revelation occurs, where there is the realization that God is the only true God, that Jesus is indeed Lord, that Jesus is risen. What if we began to pray something like that in our lives? Lord, do such a work in my life that those who are observing me, those who are in front of me, that there would be no way that they could deny that you, Lord, are God. Jesus, that you are risen and that you give new life. I think that's my biggest takeaway from the passage today, is to begin to pray something like Elijah. Lord, answer, do such a work in my life. Whether that means empowering me to embrace suffering and to go to the cross, whatever that particular cross might be, whether that might be the new life that people see in me, just as Jesus is risen, but whatever it might actually look like, Lord, do such a work in me that it's undeniable that you are God, that you are alive, and that you are not just my salvation, but our salvation, so that others would turn and confess that you are Lord. So wherever you find yourself scattered today, I invite you to join me in that prayer. Lord, so save me, whatever that might actually look like, whether it's leading me to the cross or whether it's the new life that I have because I'm surrendered to you, Jesus. But do such a work in me that it is undeniable, Jesus, that you are Lord, that you are risen, and that you save. Well, God bless, and have a great day.